Hi, this is Bani and Maria here. We want to chat with you a little bit about blind spots. So by that we mean, I just think it's funny how, like, for so many years, oh my gosh, like was such an expert on seeing everyone else's blind spots. So what we were talking about is places in their life where they don't see that they might be sabotaging themselves or getting in their own way. And I felt myself like such an expert on that. But to see my own blind spots, it's like, no, forget about it. I could not see where I was sabotaging myself or getting in my own way. Or I refused to. It's like I didn't want to look. Like, don't make me look. I'm not looking.
Well, and that's why they call them blind spots, right?
Right.
It's really your growth areas.
Yeah.
But the reality is they're blind spots because we don't see them in ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah, it's big. It's big.
Right. And so now when we want to move forward and grow, because otherwise we tend to be this culture where we can see everyone else's, we're all experts on where everyone else needs to change and grow, but we don't see it in ourselves. Now the problem with that is if we actually had any control over other people changing and growing, that'd be all fine and dandy that we can see that stuff and we could tell them what to do, how to change, and they do it, but it doesn't work that way. No one changes because we tell them what their problem is and how to fix it.
Yeah.
Right. It's not how our evolution or growth happens.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and I find too in when I'm working in corporate is, team members will often see, their leader. I'll work with some team members and they'll see that their leader has an area of growth. It's like, well, if this just changed or that just changed, then it would all be okay. And to realize that we're all on our own growth journey, like we have to have patience. We've talked about that before, is just having that patience for realizing, everyone is on their own growth journey, and they're not going to see, like the areas that we see that our boss or our team member or our family member, those areas that we see that they need to grow in, they have to see them themselves, and this is where we're talking about blind spots, be open to asking about if they're like ready to grow and they don't see them. Is to ask a person that they really trust. And I'm thinking about it in terms of, I have a client right now who took a 360, and for those of you in the business world, a 360 assessment is where it's an anonymous assessment where it's a full 360. Your team members, your boss, your family members, your friends all do an anonymous assessment of you in different areas, your communication and whatnot. And so often those are the best clients that are like ready to do that. They're like, yeah, I want a 360 because I want to know where my blind spots are, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're not in a situation where you can do that, where you can get a 360, you had a really great idea on if you're ready to change and you're ready to understand where your areas of growth are, how can you find out?
Right. Yeah. Because I'm definitely at a point in my life where it's like, I know I still have baggage and areas of growth. And instead of just covering it up and denying it and pushing it away, I want to get it out so it's not affecting and sabotaging my work career, my relationships, all that stuff. So it's kind of unpacking that stuff. So the process is basically that you find someone that you really trust and feel safe enough to do this process with. It could be someone in your work environment that you feel close to, or someone at home you feel close to. And you sit down and you would take turns doing this. So you would say to them, what I appreciate about you is, and fill in the blank, and that what I think is getting in your way is, and fill in the blank. And then the other person says, after they hear it, they say, thank you for sharing. And then we switch roles, and they tell me what they appreciate about me, and they tell me what they think is getting in my way. Now, maybe one more thing I want to say is about, like in the past, I used to have a lot of friends, and I liked these friends that they would always just tell me, like, no, there's nothing wrong with you. You're perfect. You're fine. What? I can't believe they said that. No. Like, I don't even want, that's not what I consider a good friend anymore. Right. I want someone who's going to help me see, the egg on my face, because that's what's going to help me move forward.
That's right. Yeah. Great. I love that. So yeah, so if if you have an opportunity to take a 360, if you're working in an environment where it's something that you're ready for and you can ask at work, if it's an assessment that you can take, I highly recommend it. It will help you tremendously. And if not, that process there that Bani just talked about is a wonderful one to figure out, hey, oh, and you know what? Here's the other thing, is to be open when they do tell you. You've got to be open to say, okay, this isn't meant to hurt me. This is meant to help me. Yeah. And to look at it and say, okay, that's a blind spot. And this is an area that I want to grow in. And you will when you go within, right? When you go within and you say, okay, where does that challenge show up in my life? When have I done that? When have I said that or acted in that way? Because that's what may be holding me back. So great. Well, we look forward to seeing you next week, and also let us know if you did this action step and how it felt and how it turned out for you. So have a great week, and we'll see you next week.